Welcome everybody to Revolutionize Your Marketing that we do here every Friday at 5 o'clock p.m. Eastern, 4 o'clock Central, with our one and only John Petros Sr. As it's all about kind of marketing kinds of things. But with nothing further to do, I'd love to have you join us if you'd like to be a guest. Let us know. And please subscribe and whatever to all of our social media. But let me bring in John. Welcome, John.
How you doing, Emily?
Very good.
Good to be here. And folks, welcome to Revolutionize Your Marketing. And the show is based on marketing from businesses and how businesses can improve their marketing. But tonight, we take a little different swing into the recreational sport realm with a gentleman who's a podcaster in his own right. And he's got a podcast show about golf. So welcome, John.
Thank you, and congratulations on the little pun about taking a swing in a different direction. I appreciate that. Well done, sir.
No pun intended. So, John, let people know who you are, where you're from, and how you got into this interesting field.
Okay, my name is John Ashton. I am, as I like to tell people, a recovering radio personality. I am currently in Louisville, Kentucky. I was born and brought up in Boston, however, and go to Maine every week, every year on vacation. And I wave to that big brick building on 495 as I pass it in Lowell. So, and didn't know you were associated with it until just a couple of years ago. So I appreciate that. Back in 2010, I was doing my morning show in Louisville and was called into a meeting when I got off the air and told I was too expensive and needed to go do my own thing. Sorry. And then, walked unceremoniously out of the building. So I took the advice to heart. I did my own thing. I'm an avid golfer, so I started my own radio show about golf. And the thought process was, hey, at least I can make my personal golf tax deductible until I find a new job. Well, we went for a couple of years and got picked up by the SB Nation Sports Radio Network. And then we got picked up by the Believe Sports Podcast Network. And now we're on over 100 stations coast to coast. And the podcast is downloaded about 30,000 times a week. And I have a co-host who is a Golf Magazine Top 100 teacher. He was not when we started the show, but his reputation has preceded everything. And he is now big time, big buck teacher and can talk a great game. And what we do is we talk to and about the average golfer every week and explain how they can have more fun playing golf, whether it's new places to play, new equipment to play with, or a new technique to keep your ball out of the woods.
Good. So how is the response to a golf podcast show?
Surprisingly phenomenal. I will admit I started it just as a temporary measure, not expecting much to come of it at all. We had my co-host on first as a guest, and he thought it was such a great concept. He asked if he could be a co-host, and I immediately acquiesced to that. And we've been doing it now for about 11 years. And, 30,000 downloads a week surprises no one more than it surprises me. But then again, I always thought that if done right, it would be a popular niche, and that proved correct. So, onward and upward, man.
So have you had any, shall we say, famous golfers on your show?
The closest we came to having a famous golfer, because we don't do much with the pros at all. That's why we took the tack we took. Yeah. There's an awful lot of PGA fan websites around or podcasts around. Yeah. And we decided we would not do that, but we did have Justin Thomas's father on. Justin Thomas's father has been a well-received and well-known golf instructor here in the Louisville market. In fact, he taught Justin how to play. And we had him on after Justin qualified for his first Masters tournament and asked him how it was to no longer be Mike Thomas, but to be Justin's dad. Because that's how he's now known. So,
Hey, at least it's a good way to be known.
yeah, you're known for something, you know? Yeah.
I mean, it's been, I don't know how many years since I've even swung a golf club. The closest I get to golf now is mini golf.
Well, you know, that's something, you know, at least you get a putter and a ball in your hand, you know?
Outside of working at golf tournaments,
Well, there you go. Do you work or play in them?
worked.
Okay.
I got to sit around and drive around in the golf cart all day. And they get a nice big huge meal for free afterwards.
Well, there you go. Yeah. Now, most of the golfers are expecting someone a lot more prettier than you, John, but you know, you'll
Oh,
do it in a pinch.
there was a few of them too.
Okay. You know, one
But
of
no,
one
that
of the
was
things that my co-host and I are about to do is debut a coaching program on how business owners and salespeople can use golf more effectively and correctly to accelerate the sales cycle and to build trusting relationships with people much more quickly. And one of the things that we teach, for lack of a better word, is how to participate in charity golf tournaments or scrambles or whatever you want to call them, and get a good ROI when you do it. Because what we found is most business guys that participate, first off, they only participate with an organization with which they have an affinity already. You know, like guys who've survived cancer to go to the Cancer Society, Heart Attacks, Heart Society, stuff like that. And then what they do is they pay the fee for the team, and they get their little placard on one of the tee boxes. But you know, nobody remembers who sponsored hole number 8 in the last tournament you went to. And then they give the team away to you know, employees or customers or somebody like that. You know, you get a bit of a tax deduction, but as far as the advertising goes, it is not the most effective form of advertising by a long shot. So what we suggest people do is, yes, participate not only in organizations that you have an affinity for, but every organization that has one. Because I know in this town, every week on a Monday, there's a charity scramble going on somewhere on some country club someplace. Okay. Which means one is they're usually great courses to play. It may be the only chance many of us get to play that course, but we suggest that the owner of the business or someone in the business, even a sales guy, whatever, put your team together, take the team for yourself and put it together properly. What you do is you call your best client and you just say, hey, guy, we're going to go play golf. Come play golf with me. It's going to be a fun day. It's for a good cause, and we're going to have fun. And then you call your best prospect and you tell them the exact same thing. You know, I'm not going to try to sell you anything. This is not, you know, to get you out and, you know, where you're defenseless and jump on you. This is just to have a good time and to get to know you and let you get to know us. And then you go through your existing client base and you figure out which one of your existing clients, your best prospect, would most profit by meeting. That's the person you invite for the 4th. And then you put your best prospect and the 4th in the cart together. And at the end of 18 holes, you are going to have probably 2 very good friends and 1 very new client. And it should work like that every time you do it. So you play in 1 a week, you know, you play 13 weeks during the summertime, you get 13 new clients. How much money extra is that going to be for you? You know, do the math and figure out whether it would be worthwhile for you or not, you know? So,
Yeah, exactly.
yeah.
That's like the tournament I used to volunteer for, which was a Greek school.
Okay.
And of course, you know, Greek business owners more than willing to support
Yeah.
Greek schools.
That's right.
And yeah, it was really, I really had fun doing it. I offered when my youngest one left to Greek school that, hey, I'll keep volunteering for the golf tournament if you want. But No, they'd rather have me at the folk festival,
Oh, well.
outside all day for 2 days, cooking
Mm,
food. But hey,
mm, yeah.
they didn't even ask me for that dish. I'm surprised.
But
But I did do one of those little signs to one of the holes, sponsored my travel business when I had it, and
okay.
got absolutely zippo
Yeah.
out of it.
Yeah.
They begged me to sponsor it again the year after. I said, well, no,
Yeah.
didn't work too well. So
Yeah.
no.
But if you take the
But,
team
yeah,
and you may not get any direct result from the organization, from the sponsorship, but you can get a direct result from the team that you put together. And that's so much more
yeah,
important. And another element to using golf too is I'm sure you've run into this, and everybody who has a business or a sales gig has run into this, is when you make a telephone cold call, you get the gatekeeper, and the
yeah,
gatekeeper's response 99 times out of 100 is, "I'm sorry, he's busy. Let me take your name and have him get back to you."
yeah,
It never happens. It's just the first of many attempts. But if you were to say after that response, "Listen, don't bother him. This is just John. I was just calling to see if you wanted to go play golf with me next week." The reaction you're going to get most often is, "Well, hang on. Let me see if I can get him for a few minutes." Because nobody doesn't want their boss
yeah.
to not play golf if they're getting invited. So, you
Especially
know,
for me getting him out of the office.
exactly, exactly. It's up to you what you do when you get put through. You
Yeah,
know, I would suggest that the first thing out of your mouth is, "Hi there, I would like to invite you to come play golf with me at such and such a place at your convenience next week," and then go from there. And you'll find that you will be very well accepted. So,
yeah. But yeah, golf is my brother when he worked for Unit Carbide, he used to like playing golf. So when he retired, he moves down in the Carolinas, in
oh,
among all the golf courses.
yeah, they get a few golf courses down there. Yeah,
And he still
yeah,
associates with a couple of friends of his. And they don't live close together. They all fly in and meet somewhere at a golf course somewhere in the country
hmm,
and spend a weekend playing golf.
yeah, yeah.
So
I
he
got a friend who
covers
does.
quite a few golf course in
Yeah,
his
I have a
belt.
friend who does the same thing. He goes to southern South Carolina area, Hilton Head area, Savannah, Georgia, somewhere around there, and they play golf like 5 consecutive days, and then he
Yeah,
limps home because he's old. But it's a fun thing to do. It's a great bonding experience, whether it's with friends or strangers. If you go to a golf course alone and they hook you up with an existing group, you're
mm,
gonna you're gonna leave that golf course with some new friends, guaranteed. You know.
yeah. Another thing I tried to do for marketing for my travel business is one of the local golf courses around here. I paid to get my business
On the
little square
scorecard.
advertised on one of the scorecards.
Uh-huh.
That didn't work either. I mean, it got them some money, which is
Yeah,
fine, but
yeah,
didn't get me anything.
yeah.
So yeah, there's a lot of marketing out there that doesn't work.
Yes, there is.
And
It's a shame we don't have people that know what does work and can help us with that.
yeah, well, I've been finding out, letting people know that advertising on TV works
Hmm.
and is actually cheaper than social media, believe it or not.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, advertising is basically the result of repetition over time.
Yeah,
So, the least expensive um, medium um, isn't always the best choice, but if it's TV and it's well watched, then yeah, you have to figure out how much your budget is and if it's going to be enough to buy enough spots to make an impression. Because they say what, 9 or 11 times, something like that, you have to touch somebody before they actually are moved to even remember you. You know.
Well, the first live stream that I signed up with was Disney Plus.
Okay.
And when they gave me access to their platform, I didn't believe what they said. So of course I had to check it out. The lowest they go is $500 a month for the ad spend.
Uh-huh.
So I set up a budget for $500 a month, put a radius of about 25 or 50 miles, I can't remember. And it said I would have over 12,000 views.
Whoa.
And the statistics that they use in marketing is it takes somebody 6 to 7 times to see an
Okay.
ad before they react.
Okay.
I went with 8. That made it 1,250 people. And out of those that react, they say 30% will actually do something.
Okay.
That made the number 40. I wanted to go like low scale. So I took 20 people and I lowballed the price, say $500 a month for the services.
Uh-huh.
That comes out to $10,000 a month.
For you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or the
Yeah.
client, whichever, yeah.
Yeah.
So for $500, you come out with 10,000. That's worst case scenario. I mean, if you go with the 40, double that. That's
Yeah.
20,000.
Yeah. It's a decent ROI, man.
And when I figured out the price, it came out close to like 25 cents per view.
Mm-hmm.
Put an ad on Facebook now, it's like $1.50, $1.70 per click.
Yeah. And
A lot cheaper.
Google's
And
ridiculous too.
yeah,
AdWords or whatever it's called. I don't know. It's been so long. They may have changed the name 6 times since I ever dealt with them. But
they change it all the time, pretty much. Yeah.
yeah.
But
Yeah. Yeah. But mass
yeah, so
media, like TV, I'm not sure what kind of results you get from a YouTube ad. I've never tried it,
yeah,
never followed it, but
I haven't really done YouTube, but nice thing too with moving on to live stream and primetime TV, most of them, the lowest they go is $500, which is good for
right.
small businesses.
Mm-hmm.
And most of them you could still niche down who sees the ads,
That's
either
the
by
important thing.
demographics or by
Yeah.
location.
Yeah. That's the important thing. Because like
So,
when you go with like even a local radio station, okay, unless you're selling something that everybody in the world wants, you can get a
yeah,
whole lot of impressions, but they may not be for the right people, you know. But if
yeah,
you can niche down and say, I want only to run on programming that that a 25 to 34-year-old male would watch, then that becomes less expensive because all the people who see it will be potential clients. You won't be wasting any impressions on teenage girls, things like that. So,
yeah,
and that's the thing. I love radio. I mean, radio was my life since 1973 to 2010. But again, you're paying for everybody.
yeah.
You can't niche down. Um, and somebody told me, like, we had a radio station that the target demo was 25 to 54-year-old women. And somebody looked at me and said, 25 to 54 is not a demographic, it's a family reunion.
Yeah, it could be.
Yeah.
I have a buddy of mine locally that used to work for the local radio station. He had he ran the morning show during the weekdays, and he got into a little dispute with the owner of the station.
Mm-hmm.
So he went off and started his own podcast studio downtown. Didn't look at the numbers until the first 8 months went by and realized he had over 800 followers from the
Whoa.
radio station,
Whoa.
which
Okay.
most of them are local business
Mm-hmm.
because he runs his parents' Greek restaurant.
Okay.
And I've contacted him a few times going on his podcast to get some local businesses, and both of us kind of dropped the ball. So
Yeah.
uh, I will be seeing him next weekend.
So you're around Lowell, Mass, right?
Yeah, I'm in Drake, right outside of
Great.
Lowell. Yeah.
Okay. So is there a large Greek community there?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
We had two Greek restaurants. There's now one.
Okay.
The other one closed down for some reason.
And my 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 dad's sister married a Greek biophysicist by the name of David Ephantis, and he taught at UConn for 40 plus years. And that's that, and taking people to a Greek restaurant in Chicago were the only brushes I had with anything Greek. But they bought before the, both my aunt and uncle now have passed away, but before they did that, he spent 6 months of the year teaching at the American University in Athens because he was born in Athens, and they had a villa on Crete, and my aunt kept saying, "Come visit us for the summer, come," and I'm like, "Yeah, I'm busy," but
Yeah, I was on the PTO for the Greek school, and my kids went there. And there was one teacher that she was actually the one that taught the Greek class. And every year she'd put a trip together,
okay,
take a take some of her students over to Greece during the summertime for a week, two a, a week or 2 weeks, and just taught them the Greek culture over in Greece. And
Yeah.
the kids would come back and they'd be so excited about being over there. But
I can
then
imagine.
again, being at a Greek school, most of them come from Greece.
Yeah,
But those that didn't, it was an experience for them.
yeah. I mean, there's so
And
much history in the country, man. You can't help but be excited by it.
yeah,
You know. I mean, we're
that's like,
celebrating our 250th birthday, but this is like 2,500 over there. You know.
yeah. And like, I was born and raised in Lowell, which is part of the Industrial Revolution in the country.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
So it's all mill buildings. That's the name of my business.
yeah,
And a little emblem right here.
yeah.
But Lowell is celebrating their bicentennial year this year.
Oh, cool.
And I just realized a couple days ago, Lowell's known now for having one of the largest free folk festivals in the country
Okay.
that they run. And it's always the last weekend of July. So it's next weekend.
Okay.
And this, so this year is the 39th year that the city puts it on. And the other day I realized it's me and my wife's 39th anniversary. I've been married
Okay.
as long as Lowell's been doing the folk fest. But yeah, it started like 42 years ago. There was a International Folk Festival Committee
Okay.
that used to go to a different city every year around the country and put this weekend festival on.
Hmm.
It's a 3-day festival. And every year they go to a different city. When they came to Lowell, there's so many different nationalities in Lowell. They stayed here and ran it 3 years in a row.
Wow.
It was the only time that they did that, and Lowell was smart enough to keep it going.
Yeah.
They
Oh, so
have,
it's a different organization now.
yeah, the city actually runs it, and it's still free. You get to a lot of these folk festivals, and they charge you to go into the area. This one, they
Indeed.
block off like half the streets downtown.
Yeah.
There's eight stages set up for music. So you have all
Oh, cool.
different ethnic music, ethnic
Mhm.
foods, crafts, all over the whole downtown area.
Yeah. That's cool. I love those things. They did one here, basically the same story. It was a traveling rock festival, but a traveling one that they
Yeah.
went to different cities. And they came and did it in Louisville, and they had the best turnout that they had ever had in any city. So they changed the name from whatever it was to some generic rock and roll thing to Bourbon and Beyond. So, and it's a
Wow.
3-day thing. And I got to tell you, man, I was a rock and roll disc jockey for a very long time, but I can see the list of all the bands that are going to be playing on all 3 days, and there's probably 2 or 3 of them that I've ever heard of. I'm just getting old in
Yeah.
my old age, man.
I know it's crazy, but yeah, I've worked at folk festival every aspect that there is. When he
Yeah.
first started with the National Folk Festival, I was involved with the police department, so I was doing security work
Okay.
at the folk festival. And then when I worked for the newspaper, of course, the newspaper had a tent set up, so I was working their tent for a few years. Took a few years off and joined as a spectator. Got involved with the Greek school with PTO, so I ended up working their food tent for a few years. And
Hmm.
I guess this year I'm going back as a spectator and enjoying it.
Yeah. Always more fun when you can just hang out, man, not have to work.
Yeah, the
Yeah.
only thing is when I'm a spectator, I go through so much money
Yeah, that's true too. You don't get
because there's
comped
so much
anymore.
different food that it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
But let's see if we can bring Kurt in if he's available. Hey, Kurt. Here he
Yes.
comes.
Calling Kurt.
I know you got some good questions,
Yeah.
being
So,
being a golfer yourself.
right. So, John Ashton, what do you see happening in the golf industry? Are you mostly drawing from nationally, or are you getting an international draw with your show and everything with golf?
We concentrate on the States and a little bit in Canada, but for the most part, um, we don't do much internationally. Although we are trying to put a trip together to take some listeners to Scotland. So we'll see how that works out.
Yeah. How did the game of golf start?
The test is on.
uh, it was a very erudite thing. Um, unless of course you want me to do the whole Robin Williams bit, which is hilarious, but not very accurate. No, I mean it started out just a bunch of royalty, lower lower echelon royalty, bored out of their minds, and they just started fooling around uh, on a sheep pasture, and they decided, hey, this is fun. Let's make it a game. They play. I think originally they designed 7 holes, and then it went to 12. And then somebody, for some reason, and I don't remember the story, but it got to be 18, and that's what they decided on when the Royal and Ancient guys got together and started saying, "Hey, let's make this official and make up all kinds of stupid rules that are going to penalize amateur golfers for the rest of their lives." But like we did one thing with the USGA once. Uh, we covered one of their amateur tournaments up at French Lick, Indiana, and we sat down, had the USGA rep on the show, and said, "There's a rule." And this is when they were asking for suggestions on rule changes that they were planning on making. And I said, "We have a suggestion for a rule for you." And the guy said, "Okay, what is it?" And I said, $5 is enough of a penalty for a lost ball. We really shouldn't have to pay a stroke penalty too. And the man didn't even think that was funny. So, USGA has no sense of humor. But and you'll probably agree with this, Kurt, but Jeff Smith, my co-host, he's really upset that if he hits a drive and it lands in the middle of the fairway, but in a divot, that he can't replace that divot. He can't fix that divot. He can't do anything except hit out of the divot. And he said, but there's all kinds of rules where you can get free relief if you hit it into the woods, John. So if you hit a bad shot, you're cool. But if I hit a good shot, I'm penalized. What's up with that? So that's a rule he wants changed immediately too. But USGA is not very cooperative, man. not at all.
Yeah, well, there's a lot of the tradition that they're upholding, and you gotta have your process, otherwise the game changes too fast if you open up
Yeah,
the can of worms. So,
yeah. But
so
they've rescinded, well, not rescinded yet, but they've backed off their desire to create a ball that doesn't go as far. Because that was strictly because of the PGA guys. But still, if that was the only ball, if that was the official ball that all golfers needed to use, it would have penalized amateur golfers. It probably would have stopped playing, because the average drive for an amateur is 205 yards as it is. Okay. So if I'm going to lose 8 to 10 yards because of the ball changes, I'm not going to be happy if I can hit a perfect drive and it goes 190 yards. That's not going to make the game much fun. So,
yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, what do you see happening with the game of golf? I think of, like, in the USA, things like pickleball, and even in younger ages, like people are like the students, the teens, and so forth. They're going into rugby, and
Yeah.
there's so many other things to do, taking people away from checking out golf because they're gobbled up with other recreation. What do you see happening with the game of golf?
I see education necessary, because, yeah, you're right. The pickleball, it doesn't take as long. It's more healthy, beneficial to your health because of the exercise factor. It doesn't take anywhere near as long as a game of golf. But to play pickleball, you have to have at least one other person with you. To play golf, you can go by yourself. You can either play alone or get hooked up with other people. And like I mentioned earlier, you get hooked up with other people. When you're done, you're going to have some brand new friends, guaranteed, because golf does that. As far as kids go, happily, the game is not considered, as far as teenagers go, as being the non-athletic game, because of what they see on TV from the PGA. They see these guys have bulked up. They're in the gym. If they're not on the course, they're very strong. So, it's not the alternative to actually being an athlete like it used to be when you and I were kids. So I see it growing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I just really think, because, I think of, like, when Tiger Woods got started, he was like a needed injection into the game of golf that
Yep.
he delivered. And, so I think the golf industry is on its own, that all the professional golfers are great, but I think Tiger Woods was unique because he literally brought an energy into golf that, kind of carried into a common person's house, and,
Mm-hmm.
created an instant fan, even if they weren't thinking the game of golf otherwise. The Tiger Woods beginnings was so exciting in its own right. Just the life story. And I don't really see that kind of touch to folks at home happening. So I think the professional golfers, the PGA, I just was talking to the new owners of a golf course that I used to run here in Wisconsin. It's the Fields at Clover Hill here in Wisconsin, and it's an all new name. They just signed off on it this past spring, and so they're just kind of jumping in feet first, try out, running a golf course. They got success in other golf businesses, so the restaurant business side of it, they got covered and so forth. And they love the game of golf. So, like, you getting into radio, starting from being good at golf, loving the game of golf, but golf management, they've obviously been observing it for a long, long time, but now to actually be that person delivering the golf experience, it's new to them. And so that's the conversation I got myself into. And that's what I told this Derek. I said, I asked them, like, with senior citizens, I'm like, if a senior citizen, unfortunately, never played the game of golf, do you have something set up for them? at 65, 70 years old, go out and play golf for the first time in their life.
Yeah.
And it's these types of mindsets that I don't see there, but I think it takes that kind of innovation to get people into golf that you would otherwise suspect would never try it. And you got to have these learn to golf programs for that.
Exactly. And that's one thing that the Tigers entrance into the game did. It exposed golf as a possibility to a whole new demographic. Younger inner city kids, followed up by the First Tee program, which is a great idea and is available in most markets in the country, where you can go and for a minimal amount of money, free if you can't afford it, you can learn how to play golf. And the first thing they teach the kids, man, is how to shake hands. Because golf, that's the thing about golf. It basically mimics life. And the other thing about golf that once kids realize is that you don't have to be good at it to enjoy it. Unlike any other sport. I mean, if you're on a basketball team and you're not good, well, you probably won't get on the team to begin with. But if you do, you're going to ride the bench, until the starting 12 are injured and you're the only one left, then you can get on. Same thing with football. And you have to play organized in most of the sports. I mean, you can't, if you're a baseball player, it's hard to call, 17 of your closest friends and say, hey, let's go play baseball. With golf, it's just, you can play indoors now. There are so many indoor places popping up. TopGolf, you don't even have to play golf to learn how to play golf. The TopGolf thing is making golf a lot like bowling. It's a social thing now. You can go and you can eat and drink, and I have a grandson who's 4 years old. We took him out. He had more fun just swinging the club in front of the electric eye and watching the ball come out automatically than he had hitting the ball. But, it's the thought that counts, and he really liked it. But, all of the new industries that are popping up around the game itself, and all of the technology improvements, the TrackMan and all of those components that allow you to play and simulate a real game and know how you do it just by hitting into a mat with a picture of a hole on it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. And the game of golf truly is a lifelong sport.
It is.
In my time running the golf course, there was a gentleman who golfed with us for like a decade, and then elderly guy, always walked, he had his pull cart, and you just saw this guy. So the guy tees off, and he's got his second shots, kind of making a snug shot around a tree to go around to the green, and he hits the second shot, and then he puts his golf club back in the bag and starts pulling on his cart, and he ended up laying to eternal rest right there.
Oh, man. Well, at least he went out swinging, as they say, right?
That's exactly right. I mean, I really felt it to be a poetic story, because getting to befriend the guy coming out, over and over and over again, and he played the game religiously, almost kind of literally, and it almost seemed like, I don't know, I could almost perceive that he almost had it in his head that that's how he wanted to go out. I could almost see that. He never expressed that, but if I were to, kind of make something up for him, I could almost see that happen. But the point is it's a game where, they got those little clubs for little kids, kids that are just like 4 feet high, 4 foot height, and those small clubs. And so at a young age, you can be 6, 7, 8 years old, giving the game of golf a try, and, golf until you're 106.
A kid like that, you get him a couple of clubs and you take him out, and more than just playing golf, it's a bonding experience with dad or with grandpa. Like my grandson, he wanted to go play every time when he was like 11. I bought him a set of junior clubs, and he'd lose interest after like 6 or 7 holes, but he still had a lot of fun. I remember at the turn at one club, I bought him a hot dog, and by the time we got to the green on the 10th hole, he just looked at me and he says, "Papa, this is the best damn hot dog I've ever had." I went, "Okay, buddy, that's it." But he was hooked. He was addicted after about the third time. And that's the thing with golf, is you either love it or hate it. Most of the time, people, when they go out to a golf course with an open mind, they're going to just become addicted and want to play better, and play more often, and just do it.
Yeah.
And
talking on that, I've known people that have taken the game of golf for actual golfers, raised money for a fund, and yet it was the best damn time these golfers ever had.
Yeah.
It was when I worked for the local newspaper.
Okay.
They did it to raise money for this for the Sun Santa Fund, providing gifts for kids that couldn't afford them. And what they did is they played 18 holes in the office.
Oh, okay.
And the funny thing is, the office was on 2 floors. I think it was the 8th hole. You had to hit it into the elevator, take the elevator to the 2nd floor, and hit out of the elevator. And of course, they made it even more interesting as they were getting to the last holes. There was also alcohol throughout the hole.
Well, that's another thing too. Is a lot of people have asked me if I thought golf was a game or a sport.
Yeah.
And I just tell them you got to really consider it a game, because I can't consider anything I can do while drinking beer a sport.
Yeah. And
but there's something to watch out for, though, when like Kurt was mentioning, it's a game for life, and there are elderly people who are playing it. Watch out for those guys and do not bet with them. Okay, I'm just telling you, because these guys, they don't hit it far. They're going to hit it 150 off the tee. They're going to hit it 150 toward the green. They're going to chip up on the green to about 5 or 4 feet. They're going to one putt for a par and walk off. And you're going to hit the tar off the ball. And when you find it in the woods and finally hit your way out, and then, hit it up to the green but miss, and then chip up, and then 3-putt, you're going to be embarrassed. So do not bet with older guys on the golf course. Just a caveat. Okay. So, and Kurt, you've played with many of those guys, haven't you?
I certainly have, and I've been that guy hitting the tar off the ball in the woods into the water hazard. The guy's waiting, like, when are you going to be done with your thing there?
One of the
and the other thing too is advice is don't play slow.
One of the years that I was working the golf tournament for the school, I was sitting in the shade in the golf cart over on the hot top.
Okay.
And it was 2 older guys and 2 younger guys. One of the younger guys teed off and hit the golf cart with the ball. He wasn't far off course, was he?
No, not at all. Unless, of course, he was aiming for you. You didn't piss him off earlier or anything, did you?
Not that I know.
Okay. Yeah.
But,
yeah. So
you were saying, John?
Oh yeah, go ahead, John Ashton.
No, I was just, I forget what I was thinking. I'm sorry. I was paying attention to your story. Oh, one of the things too that's great with golf is you can play indoors, like you were mentioning. But if you want to practice in your house, you don't really need, thousands of dollars of equipment like a TrackMan or anything like that. If you have a garage, just get a net and a mat. You can use a welcome mat you buy at Walmart and just hit balls into the net, or you can hit off carpet if you use ping pong balls, not even those practice balls, that the little wiffle golf balls they sell, but ping pong balls, they're the same size and they don't leave marks and they don't break lamps, which are two things I've done, much to my wife's chagrin. So,
yeah. Yes, so John Ashton, I look at you and very interested in what you're doing with your show. I happen to be standing out at the grounds for the world's largest water ski tournament. It's a different sport, but I look at the force that radio personality Tommy Bartlett. Have you ever heard of Tommy Bartlett?
I've heard the name, yes, sir.
Yeah. So radio show personality, and took to the sport of water skiing. And he got involved with the World Fair to demonstrate water skiing. And he came out in our state here in Wisconsin, and he went out to a dozen different lakes to cultivate this talent, because he had a traveling show, first of all. But having the traveling show, he aspired to have a home base site where he could just have people come to him and the performers for the show. And Wisconsin Dells, catered to him to make sure that this water skiing thing would come to the tourist area of the state, the Wisconsin Dells area. And that carried out until about 5 years ago. COVID and everything did him under, and, could keep going. So Ripley's owns it now, Ripley's, believe it or not, but I just look at right now, Wisconsin is the show ski cap of the world. And why is it? It's because this guy, Tommy Bartlett, with his radio, show mantra, being a presenter, he saw this marvelous thing and he came up with a way to present it. And now we have out on the site 26 different teams from all around the state of Wisconsin that basically learned without them knowing it. There's like thousands of performers out there, and there's probably, like 100 of us that know this aspect. But this guy, Tommy Bartlett, gave us the recipe for how these 26 teams, including that they go counterclockwise. And the only reason the show circle is counterclockwise was because the property bought, the stage area, had to be on the left. So he had to go from the left to the right because of that site. And now there's, really 33 sites around the state that are set up that way, only because of the purchase this man made. There's all that kind of stuff. But my point is like with what you're doing, having a show with the thousands of people ongoing, like in repetition, kind of glumming onto your show, I really think that this is, kind of where this injection can be cultivated to really, get the attention it needs. And I think this is what you're basically aspiring to do, right? Like you've got your whole life journey in golf. And now, see, like out here, I said goodbye to a guy, Chuck Bender, from, up in the Fox Valley here in the state of Wisconsin. He's a guy who's been around water skiing for ages. And he's got these shirts, these T-shirts that say "pass the handle." So it's kind of like, we've been skiing all these years, and now we pass the handle onto those to cultivate the future of the sport of water skiing. Right. So I look at that, like the picture T-shirts that say "pass the club," that folks like us are like getting other people, younger or older, whatever, passing the club to say, we as golfers, we can play a role to help get other people into the future of the game of golf. But what do you think about that? Am I on track that you're trying to serve the game of golf?
You got it right. Yeah, just trying to get more people. We have a lot of, whenever we have a guest on, we always preliminary warning to them that we do not take ourselves or anything else too seriously, because having fun talking about golf is the best way to show what kind of fun golf can be. And we just try to eliminate all of the negatives, the major one being time. People think it takes too long to play. Well, I mean, what we tell people is don't play slow. Get out there, even if you're not any good and you're afraid you're going to play slow, it doesn't matter. Just when you get to double par, you're on a par 4 and you just hit your 8th shot, pick it up and move on to the next hole. Little self-deprecating humor, whatever. You're going to find that nobody's going to make fun of you unless, of course, you're slow, and then you're going to piss people off and they're going to say, come on, let's go. sometime today. Like the people who take 14 practice swings and then sit there and stare at the ball for 30 or 45 seconds before they try to hit it. I was like, come on, sometime today, buddy, let's play. Come on, let's go. And that's the only caveat we tell people, is that everybody will accept you no matter how well or how badly you play, as long as you don't hold them up. Period.
Yeah. Yeah. I think the other side of it is that if you set 5 hours aside to come out to the golf course and have your golf experience, everything, obviously you can spend more time out at the golf club and whatever. But the idea is, we all got to eat. So we spend time eating. Yep. And, like you were talking about, like what you accomplish on the business front, or, building relationship, that's actually a benefit to have someone else carve out that time for you. So that's an advantage of what the structure of golf provides. And, if you do walk, if you don't take a golf cart, if you do a pull cart, you do get that exercise. You look at it that way.
You also play faster if you walk.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to your ball. If you're in a cart, you go to your ball and then the other guy's ball. And too many people don't do things like what I try to make sure everybody knows, because I have a bad knee, so I use a cart, because after 18 holes, my knee would be screaming at me. But I go to my playing partner's ball and I drop him off, because I make it a point to play with people who can't hit it as far as me. It just makes me feel better. And then I go to my ball. He hits his because he's farther away. I hit mine, and then I'll go back and pick him up. But it takes less time doing that than taking him to his ball, sitting there and waiting for him to take a shot. And then both of us driving to my ball and then waiting for me to take my shot, and doing it that way, leapfrogging back and forth. Just, again, just try to be as fast as you possibly can without speeding up to where you're detrimental to your game. That's the only thing. No. So.
Yeah. I have a question for both of you.
Okay.
My brother is an avid golfer, and he's been golfing for I don't know how many years. Last summer, he finally hit his first hole in one.
Okay.
How many hole in ones have you hit, John?
One in my entire life, and I didn't get to see it. It was a blind shot on the bottom of a hill.
How about you, Kurt?
I've never had a hole in one. The best I've ever done is left myself an 8-foot putt. That's the best I've never a hole in one.
I was just curious about that.
Yeah. Yeah. They are few and far between.
Yeah.
I mean, talk to people who claim, I have had 6 holes in one. Go, no, you haven't. I'm sorry, but no, you haven't. I did play with one guy once who had 2 in the same round, which he should have gone out and bought a lottery ticket that day.
I can honestly say I hit a hole in one. Unfortunately, it was on a mini golf.
I was going to say, had to get through the clown's nose, didn't you?
But yeah, like the golf tournament I worked for a couple of years, they always pick the 7th hole. It was a straightaway shot, and anybody who hit a hole in one on that hole, the prize was a brand new car. And of course, the last couple of years I worked, it was either a Tesla or a Lamborghini, something like that, because they know it's almost impossible for anybody to hit it.
Yeah. Yeah. Plus they bought the insurance just in case anybody did beat the odds. So, but yeah, it's what it's like. Well, listen, how impolite would it be to tell you I needed to jump off here?
And we're actually right at the end of the time anyways.
Oh, so, there you go. All right.
And I thought I came in the beginning. It said 3 o'clock. Hi, everyone.
Hey, Helene.
So John, how can people get a hold of you?
Just if you want to email me, just john@thoseweekendgolfguys.com. You want to listen to the show, just go to thoseweekendgolfguys.com. We're available everywhere: Spotify, iHeart, Apple, iTunes, the whole 9 yards. So great talking to you, John. Great to talk to you again, Kurt. Glad to see you, man. All right,
Thanks for
John.
coming in.
You bet. Thanks for being here, John Ashton. You bet.
Man, I appreciate you both. Thanks for the invite, John. We'll see you again sometime soon.
All right.
Bye-bye.
I'll see you soon.
All right. Take care.
And if anybody out there is interested in getting a hold of me, best way is my website, Mill City Business Help with one S in business. My email is millcitymarketingma@gmail.com, or my calendar link is at calendly.com/millcitymarketingma, where if you're interested in coming on the show, there's a tab on there to book a time on the show. It can't make it any easier than that for you. You can find me on Alignable. If you own a business and you're on Alignable, look me up on Alignable. Kurt, any last comments from you? How can people get a hold of you to be on it? Or any one of your shows?
All right. Again, I'm live from Wisconsin Rapids, Lake Wazicha, the world's largest water ski tournament. Check it out at waterski.org. And you can call or text me on my Google Voice line, 262-372-1SKI. That's 262-372-1754. Email me, Kurt, Kurt, at spiritofthegame.org. Thanks for being a part of revolutionizing your marketing.